Welcome to Whispers from the Dark, where we explore the unseen forces lurking just beyond the veil of our reality. Tonight, I bring you 7 eerie encounters, stories passed down through whispers, online forums, and eyewitness accounts. Prepare yourself. Once you've heard these tales, you might find it harder to sleep with the lights off. Let's begin. Our first tale revolves around a creaky old Victorian house, inherited by a young couple who knew nothing of its history. Buried under a dusty sheet in the attic was an antique mirror, its ornate frame covered in strange symbols. They decided it made the perfect vintage piece for their living room, until nights of unexplained knocks and flickering lights began. One evening, while the husband was alone, he spotted a faint figure in the mirror's reflection. Except nobody was standing behind him. The shape grew clearer. A woman in tattered clothes, silently mouthing what looked like, "Help me." Terrified, he ran for his wife. But when they returned, it was gone. The next morning, they found a cryptic note jammed into the mirror's frame, an address and a single date from 1912. Curiosity overtook their fear. They discovered the note led to an abandoned asylum where a woman had reportedly vanished. The same day and month from the note matched her disappearance. After removing the mirror from their home, the disturbances subsided, but every so often they swear they hear faint knocking from the attic. Imagine hearing steady footsteps pacing up and down your wooden staircase every night, only no one's there. A college student, Lisa, rented an old townhouse during her senior year. The first night, she chalked up the sounds to noisy pipes or perhaps the neighbors. But the footsteps continued for weeks, always between 2 and 3 a.m. One evening, Lisa decided to wait silently by the base of the stairs, phone in hand, ready to record. At exactly 2:13 a.m., the creaking started from the top step, descending slowly. She pressed record, heart pounding. Right when the phantom steps seemed to reach the bottom, her phone screen glitched, capturing only distorted static. Then the footsteps turned around and went back up, no visible figure in sight. Frightened, yet determined, Lisa asked the landlord about the building's history. Turned out a former tenant had fallen down those stairs and passed away decades ago. Lisa ended up breaking her lease early. She left convinced the restless spirit was reliving its final climb every single night, bound to those creaky steps forever. Late at night, on a deserted stretch of highway, truckers often share stories of a mysterious hitchhiker. Eric, a seasoned driver, picked up a young woman wearing a pale dress. She barely spoke, except to ask if he believed in ghosts. He laughed it off. After 10 miles, she begged him to stop at a small roadside memorial. He pulled over, but when he turned to say something, the passenger seat was empty. Door still locked, seatbelt neatly fastened. Alarmed, Eric got out. The memorial had the woman's picture on it, with flowers and candles. She'd supposedly died in a car crash there years prior. Shaken, he raced back to the truck. As he drove off, Eric couldn't shake the feeling of unseen eyes on him. Later, on a radio channel dedicated to long-haul drivers, he recounted his experience. Multiple callers admitted they'd seen the same woman. Some got a single haunting question. "Will you take me home?" Others said she simply vanished at that very memorial. Whether she's seeking closure or warning passing travelers, one thing's certain. Once you meet the highway hitchhiker, you'll never drive the same way again. Deep in a rural region where dense woods swallow the roads at night, locals speak of a soft whistle that echoes among the trees. A father and son were camping when they first heard it. 3 notes that repeated every few seconds. Thinking it might be another camper, they searched the area. No campsites, no fires, just endless pine trees rustling in the moonlight. Later, as they lay in their tent, the whistle grew closer, circling their camp. The father mustered his courage and stepped outside with a flashlight. He caught a brief glimpse of a figure darting behind a tree, far too tall to be an average person. The next morning, they found footprints larger than any human foot, shaped oddly, as if the toes were elongated or fused. Residents in the nearby town whispered about an ancient forest guardian or an unsettled spirit known to lure lost wanderers deeper into the woods with its haunting melody. The father and son left before nightfall, convinced that if they stayed, they'd be the next to follow that eerie whistle into the dark, never to return. When Rachel moved into her new apartment, she found it charming. High ceilings, vintage fixtures, and a slightly creaky hardwood floor. Not long after, she started hearing muffled voices at odd hours, like someone having a hushed conversation right beneath her living room. Initially, she blamed thin walls, but the weird part, she lived on the ground floor. A plumber came by to check for pipes or air ducts that might carry sound. He found nothing unusual. One night, curiosity took over, and Rachel pressed her ear to the floor. She heard faint words. "You're not safe." She panicked, ran outside, and waited until morning to go back in. Searching online archives, Rachel discovered her building used to have a hidden cellar, sealed off after a tragic event in the early 1900s involving alleged kidnapping. She never found any entrance, but the voices persisted. Some nights, they'd escalate into frantic whispers as though someone was begging for help. Unable to bear it, she moved out a month later, leaving behind a place that still echoes with pleas from beneath the floor. Working late shifts can mess with your perception of time, but for Marcus, it wasn't just fatigue. Every night at exactly 3 a.m., his phone rang. Unknown number, no caller ID. Whenever he answered, there was nothing but soft static and a faint breathing sound. If he let it go to voicemail, the message lasted exactly 13 seconds of near silence, broken only by an almost inaudible whisper. "Look, behind you." Disturbed, Marcus blocked the number. Yet the calls kept coming from different unknown lines. One night, he put the phone on speaker in front of a coworker to prove he wasn't hallucinating. Sure enough, the same static, the same unnerving whisper. Determined to trace the call, they asked a friend who worked in telecom to help. The friend found no record of any incoming call at that time. Marcus started feeling watched, especially when he was alone. He'd see fleeting shadows from the corner of his eye. Eventually, the calls stopped as abruptly as they began. But to this day, he can't shake the dread that somewhere, sometime, his phone might ring again at 3 a.m., and the voice on the other end might finally say something else. Our final story takes place in a centuries-old library that boasts an impressive collection of rare books, and perhaps a ghostly patron. Late one evening, the head librarian stayed after closing to do inventory. Amid the dim glow of desk lamps, she heard a distinct page-turning sound from behind one of the stacks. Approaching quietly, she spotted a figure in an old-fashioned suit, absorbed in an ancient tome. Nervous, she asked if he needed help. The figure slowly looked up, a face pale as parchment, and vanished, leaving the book open on a page describing archaic rituals for contacting spirits. Shaken, the librarian marked the event in her nightly log. Over the next weeks, volumes appeared on tables, open to bizarre sections on necromancy or superstition, all after hours. Some nights, footsteps echoed in the silent aisles. Staff speculated the spirit was that of a scholar who'd never finished his research. Whether he roams the library, hungry for knowledge beyond death, remains a mystery. These 7 encounters serve as reminders that sometimes unexplained forces walk among us, be it restless spirits, echoes of past tragedies, or entities beyond our understanding. So the next time you hear a strange noise at 3 a.m. or sense a presence in an empty room, remember these stories and ask yourself, is it truly all in your head? Thanks for joining me on Whispers from the Dark. If you dare to hear more like this video, share it and subscribe. Until next time, keep your eyes open and your lights on.